I love flying anyway, so it didn't matter what helicopter I had. I just enjoyed it, and just the fact of being in the helicopter. And every day is different, and every task is different. When we were in the Indian Air Force, we were looking after the Indian Army and the government, civilian government, who were all posted in the Himalayas, and our job was to give them all the equipment and soldiers and all holiday people and whatever. And it is fun because Himalayas are just too gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Imagine getting that as work. For us it was just such a pleasure to be flying over those Himalayas. And then the war came. December 71 war came, and all the rules were thrown out of the window. Our job was to get the job done. Whatever job was, army gave it to us, then our job was to get it done. And the fact that we did 4 special heliborne operations in 12 days, non-stop, 24/7, no sleeping, no eating, no drinking, getting it whatever time we had, and delivered more than 6,000 soldiers plus 202 tons of army equipment to where they wanted us to go, to Dhaka and to Sylhet. And I think our effort helped to shorten the war, and the war finished in 13 days. And I think we were one of the reasons why the war finished so quickly. On the 7th job, our first job was to take 4 by 5 Gurkhas to Sylhet. Our army's aim was to capture Sylhet. And so we started in the 7th evening. We had 8 helicopters, and daytime was easy. We saw the helipad, we went and started delivering. And we went with a gap of 3-4 minutes behind each other, so that there's not more than one helicopter on ground at any one time, so that there's less enemy targets. So we did that 3 flights each. We had fuel for 3 flights each. We delivered those 3 flights each. We did 22 flights in the end. And by the time dark came, we needed fuel. So we came back when we shut down. Every time we were going in, the Pakistan Army has started surrounding the helipad we were landing in, and they were firing at us. Bullets are coming from every direction. And our group captain, who was in charge of the whole Air Force, he was in a little Elbit helicopter on top of us and watching all the operation. And if he could see 100 bullets, he could probably see the whole lot, thousands of them, literally thousands of them. They were coming from every direction. We were fortunate that they were far away, and our army on the ground had keeping them at bay. They won't let them come anywhere closer to us. So they were firing at us, hoping they'll hit us. And we used to come back with an odd bullet hole here and there. So it was nothing dangerous, nothing big, and our engineers were able to patch it up, no problem at all. So when we came back, 6 o'clock, we shut down, we refueled, got ready for the next flight. And group captain, who had just come back from watching all this, came back, no, we're not going to fly at night. It's too dangerous. You'll be sitting duck and they're going to shoot you down. No problem. And as you know, helicopter is so slow, so low, anybody can shoot us down. There's no problem at all. So he was very worried that he'll lose a helicopter, he'll lose the pilots, and he'll lose the soldiers who go in the helicopter. So he told the brigadier, we're not going at night. The brigadier was very upset. They had not planned who's going to go first, who's going to go second, who's going to go third. They thought we'll just keep going till everybody is delivered. So they had a big powwow for 4-5 hours, and then eventually they said, okay, let's send 1 helicopter and see what happens. So he comes to me, because I was the ops manager of the whole operation, get 1 crew ready, and we'll see what happens. If it comes back, then we'll send the rest of the helicopter. And my group captain was 100% sure that I was not going to come back and I was going to be shot down. He was 100% sure in his mind. So anyway, I came to the crew room where everybody was resting and sleeping and trying to catch up with whatever little sleep he had. I said, I need a volunteer to come with me. Every one of those 35 pilots put their hand up. It was wow, everybody's adrenaline's were running and everybody wanted to come. So I picked Flying Officer Kant Reddy. He came with me. And Bindra was our flight engineer. So we went, got ready, put all the equipment and essential equipment. Our army had not even taken the HF radio, so they had no communication with us. So we took the radio as well, and we took all the essential equipment, loaded it up. Midnight we got airborne. And it was pitch dark, quarter moon at that time. It was very dark, we couldn't see anything. And of course, we knew the helipad in daytime. We had no idea what it was like going to be at night time. I was no idea how I was going to find the helipad. I knew where the river was, I knew where the station was, I knew where the cantonment was, where the town was, but that's in daytime. Night time is completely different. So when I got airborne, suddenly somebody came up on the radio, and I was so glad to hear this voice, because he was Flying Officer Sharma. He was a flight air controller. He had come as a liaison officer with the army, our Air Force guy. He had gone with the army as a liaison officer. So he came up on the radio. About time you guys came, and I said, I'm so glad to hear his voice. I said, how's the situation on the ground? He said, no, everything is okay, no problem at all. And I'll light a fire for you so you know where to come. So he lit a fire for us. And then I went straight for the fire, and I had to brief my passengers. As soon as I land, I want everybody out, and I'll be airborne in 30 seconds because I have no time because I'll be shot down otherwise. And when we were going in, I'm telling you, the bullets we could see, tracer bullets. When you see a tracer bullet, means there are 4 or 5 bullets behind it, you know. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of bullets are coming towards us. So anyway, we went in, we landed, we dropped the soldiers, and we were airborne literally less than a minute. We were airborne and running away from the firing. And I told my flight engineer Bindra, I said, go and have a look how many bullet holes we got. And I was sure there'll be at least a dozen, if not more. So he went around with the light on, torch on, everything, and came back after a minute. He says, sir, with a big grin, you won't believe it, we don't have a single bullet hole. I just could not believe it. I was amazed. I said, the only reason we don't have bullet hole is enemy cannot see us. They can only hear us. So they're just firing in the air. So I rang up base. I said, come on, guys. These people don't know how to fire. We're all going in. So got the rest of the people getting ready. In the meantime, I came, picked up my next load, went running back, dropped my next load, came running all the way back, again with no bullet holes, picked up my third load, went running back again, dropped my third load. And this time when I got airborne, my fuel gauge was showing 0. I said, the engine's running, the rotors are running. So obviously we got fuel. So we were praying to whoever was up there, take us back home. We got back home, no problem, landed. In the meantime, 4 helicopters had got ready, and they all started loading up, and we started loading up, and then the whole night we were flying. The next day we were flying. So we delivered the entire brigade, but 4-5 Gurkhas. And by 9th morning, everybody had been delivered with the guns and everything, you know. Incredible, absolutely incredible. More than 700 soldiers we delivered, and their ammunition and everything. And Sylhet was taken over at the end of the 4 or 5 days. You know, 2 brigades of Pakistan army surrendered to our army, to our Gurkhas. And for that night, for volunteering to go, when I know he knew that I was going to be shot down, he put my name up for the medal, and I was awarded that a few days later. The very next day, on the 9th of December, we went to next location. Asuganj is Raipura area, and Brahmabari to Raipura was where the army wanted to go, and the general wanted to have a look at Asuganj as well. So we went in a little elevator, 6 of us. And general was sitting in front, 2 pilots were sitting there, and the 3 of us were sitting at the back. So he showed us the helipad, and on the way back, he said, this is all under Indian control, we can come down. So we started coming down, and suddenly we heard this noise, foot, bullets were going right into the helicopter. And one of the pilots got injured, the other pilot took over, climbed away from there, and we came back to base. And when we shut down, we discovered we had 38 bullet holes in that helicopter, tiny helicopter, 6-seater. Only 1 person was injured. Where those bullets went, how they missed us was amazing, absolutely amazing. Then, of course, that evening and the next morning, we did 100-odd flights to Raipura. And then the following day, we did to Narasingdi. Following 2-3 days, we did to Narasingdi, again, another 100+ flights. So, total number of flights I did personally, 94 flights. They mentioned 35 because that is the number of flights I had done before the citation was sent. But the war carried on for 12 days, so I did 94 flights total. But they were all in enemy territory, and people were firing at us most of the time, you know. I think all my pilots and all my engineers and all my flight engineers were out of the world. A, because they were working 24/7. B, they were flying into areas which was being fired at. So I can't pinpoint one particular person. I think all of them deserved medal and bravery and citations, especially our engineers. I'm just pointing out engineers because they kept all the helicopters flying all the time, 24/7 for whole 2 weeks. And the pilots, not a single accident in the wartime, not one accident. All youngsters, very little experience. Everybody was so wound up and ready to go and willing to do everything. It was just incredible, absolutely incredible. So I have to say everybody, and even the flight engineers, their job it was to make sure helicopters not loaded up too much or unloaded too much, or the passengers are coming in and out the right time. They were incredible. They were our load masters. We had no time to weigh anybody. We had no time to write down the names of anybody. We had no idea how much load we were carrying. We were only allowed to carry about 12 or 1300 kilos. We were carrying 2000 kilos most of the time. It was incredible, absolutely incredible. So I think all of them deserve to be mentioned, again and again. And I feel so proud and humbled that I was their flight commander, I was the ops manager, I was running the show, and they were all with me, going everywhere, wherever I wanted them to go. Not a question asked, no sir, I can't do it. Nobody said that, Everybody went. And one of the pilots was not even 20. He had just come from the flying school, about a year and a half ago, and we had trained him. And rest of them were 22, 23, 24. Very young people, very, very young people. And I was the oldest, as I said, I was 30, Absolutely. It's always the man or the woman behind the equipment who produces the result. Doesn't matter how sophisticated the machine is, unless you have the right people behind it. And of course, the leaders make a huge difference as well. If they're leading from the front, they are putting their neck out first themselves. You'll find everybody follows, and everybody comes up to the highest of their standards. And equipment, of course, helps, but it's, at the end of the day, it's the man or the woman behind the thing which makes a huge difference, absolutely huge difference, I think India is doing in the right direction. We got the wonderful leader at the moment, Narendra Modi. In the last 7 years, he stopped all corruption in high places. So all the money that is being generated is being used for India, and India is developing like crazy, absolutely crazy. I'm just so happy we have ministers like that, leaders like that, and I hope we have more leaders like that carrying on for the next few years. And I think India is going in the right direction. They're doing wonderful, absolutely wonderful. I think the way India is progressing, most of the youth will feel happy to stay on in the country rather than having a brain drain and disappearing to America or Europe or wherever else we've been going for the last 60 odd years. And once that happens, more and more people will produce more and more stuff or the country itself. And India's got so much to offer, huge amount of stuff to offer in every way. And of course, we got our own market. We don't even have to export anyway. We got 1.3 billion people in our own country. So it's wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Now, I'm very proud of India, and I'm very proud the way it is progressing at the moment. It's doing very well. Up to about 2014, the progress was very slow because most of the leaders were just corrupt and they were just trying to make money for themselves. Since Modi's come in 2014, it's changed, and all the corruption is, not all, majority of the corruption is disappeared, especially in high places. No corruption in the ministries and ministers and everything. So with the result, all the money generated is being used for the country, by the country, and that's making a huge difference for the country, absolutely huge difference. I think it'll be superpower by 2030. You don't have to wait for 2037. I think the way they're going, they're producing their own aircraft now. We got our own helicopters being produced, fixed wing aircraft being produced, and a lot of them being assembled. But majority of them they're going to produce themselves, and they're sending. We got a huge space missions, huge. We're sending rockets all over the place, satellites all over the place. So they're doing well. So I got huge hopes for India. No, I'm glad we're celebrating. I think we should always be celebrating. Doesn't matter what it is, we should be celebrating all the time. And when you celebrate, everybody's happy, General Sagar Singh decided we're going to take over Sylhet. Sylhet is a town north of Bangladesh. And he got one of the battalions, 4-5 Gurkhas, to get ready. Then we got our helicopters all ready. We refueled. We had enough fuel to do 3 trips each to Sylhet from Kalora, which is about 20 minutes flying, about 44 kilometers. So everything was ready, and we were waiting for our army to arrive from midday. But they got late, and by the time they came, it was 2:30. But I'd brief my pilots. As soon as they come, we load up and go. I was number 1, and then number 2, number 3, number 4. And we had 7 helicopters for the first 2 trips and 8 helicopters for the third trip. And we were carrying 12, 13, 14 passengers, whatever we could carry, and their ammunition and their food and water and whatever. So we did about 22 flights, and we delivered 250 soldiers, plus their equipment, plus ammunition, whatever. And first time we went, hardly anybody was there, no enemy fire. We delivered, we came back. By the time I went the second time, and we were in like a circle, 3-4 minutes gap between each helicopter. By the time we went the second time, the Pakistan army had started surrounding us, and they were firing at us. And by the time we went the third time, the firing had intensified. It was huge. From every direction they were firing at us. And our group captain was in a little Albert. He was sitting on top watching the show. So if he could see 100 bullets, he could see thousands, because he could see the whole lot. So anyway, 6 o'clock came, it was dark, we came back, we shut down, we got ourselves refueled, ready to go again. And the group captain said, no, we're not going at night, it's too dark, it's too dangerous, and they're firing at us from every direction, and all my helicopters will get shot down, we'll not achieve anything. So we came and we shut down. And we were waiting. And I told everybody, go and rest and relax and eat whatever you can, because it's not often we get enough time to rest and all. So then they had a power war between the brigadier and the group captain, and he said, after 4-5 hours of discussion, he said, okay, we'll send 1 helicopter and see what happens. So he came to me, because I was the ops manager. He says, get 1 crew ready. This is what we're going to do. And if you guys go and come back, we'll send the rest of the helicopters. So I volunteered to go myself, and I went to the crew room, and I said, I need a volunteer to come with me. And Flying Officer Kant Reddy, I picked up. Everybody put their hands up. I was just saying, wow, because everybody could see the bullets. Everybody could be scared, but none of us were scared. So I picked up Flying Officer Kant Reddy, and midnight we got airborne. We loaded up all the equipment. They didn't even have HF radio at Sylhet, where our army had been dropped. So we had no contact with them. We had no idea whether they were still alive, And there was 2 brigades of Pakistan army there, 5,000 plus soldiers of Pakistan army, and we only dropped 250 people. So we got ready, we put the radios, they didn't have much water there at this thing as well. We loaded up a lot of water as well, and everything. We got airborne midnight. I had no idea how I was going to find the helipad. It was dark. I knew where the helipad is in daytime, but nighttime is completely different. And everything was shut down, switched off anyway, because of war, everything was switched off. I knew where the river was, I knew where the railway station was, because again, nobody knows. Daytime, nighttime, completely different. And I had no idea how I was going to find the helipad, but I knew I'll find it, So anyway, we got airborne, and luckily, somebody came up on the radio. I was so glad to hear his voice. And he was the flight air controller we had sent to the army. He was our liaison officer between the Air Force and the army. And he had a walkie-talkie. It was wonderful. So I asked him, what is the situation like on the ground? And he says, it's very quiet. Our army is keeping them at bay. And I said, okay. He says, I'll light a fire for you, then you'll know where to land. So he lit a fire for me. As soon as I saw the fire, I went straight for it. And I had briefed my passengers, as soon as I land, I want everybody out in 30 seconds, I'm getting airborne, because there'll be so much firing going on. And that's what we did. As soon as we landed, the amount of bullets which are coming towards us on the finals, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of bullets are coming towards us. Anyway, we landed, everybody out, we got airborne. And I asked my flight engineer, Bindra, he said, go and have a look, how many bullets we got, how many bullet holes we got. So he went around with his torch, and he put the light on and everything. And he came back with a big grin. Sir, you won't believe it. We don't even have a single bullet hole. I was absolutely flabbergasted and amazed and so happy that there was no bullet hole. So I rang up base on the radio. I said, come on guys, these people don't know how to fire. We're all going in. Get ready. So they all started getting ready. In the meantime, I came, I picked up my next load, went running back, dropped my next load, came running back, picked up my third load, went running back again, dropped my third load. Third load when I got airborne, suddenly the fuel gauge said 0. Engine was still running, rotor still running, so obviously we had fuel. So then 3 of us were praying to whoever was up there, take us back home, so we got back home safely. 4 helicopters had got ready by that time. Then we joined the group, and the whole night we were flying, the whole day, the next day we were flying. And for offering to go at night in the pitch dark, and in dangerous situation where group captain was 100% sure I was not going to come back, he put my name up for Veer Chakra, and I was awarded the next day.
And he didn't think you would come back.
Yeah.
Who did you feel?
I didn't feel anything. I was not scared at all. It didn't even occur to me that I should be scared. It never occurred to me that I should be scared. And the other thing, I had a huge feeling for the 250 people we had dropped. I didn't want them to be marooned, you know. They were marooned, literally, among 5,000 soldiers. Only thing good was 5,000 soldiers didn't know that we only dropped 250. They thought we dropped 5,000 or 2,000. They had no idea how many people we were dropping. So that is a good thing. If they knew there were only 250 people, they could have just marched in. No bother at all, you know.
So that's, to me, that's the brave bit, you know, the fact that you
No, it never occurred to me, and I don't think it occurred to any of my pilots that we should be scared. Literally. None of us felt that we should be scared.
even though you knew the danger.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, we could see the bullet. We could see the bullet holes coming. We could see the bullet holes in the helicopter. Even the one which hit my helicopter only stopped about 2 feet away. It broke my cable to the fuel tank, fuel gauge. It was 2-3 feet away from me. If it had not stopped there, it would have kept coming to me.
But you still kept going.
It didn't bother me at all. You know, literally, I'm telling you the truth. It never bothered me that I should be scared. I had job to do. Army wanted to do it, and I was there to help them, and that's what we were doing.
And then later, when you received the award, how did it feel then?
No, I was just thrilled, and I was only thing I was feeling was more people should have got it from my squadron. You know, more people deserved it. And we delivered them to Dhaka and to Sylhet. And the fact that we managed to do it in 12 days, non-stop, working 24/7. We was getting an hour's sleep here and there and getting food whenever there was available. And we were on time everywhere, maybe ahead of the time, because most of the time Army couldn't keep up with us because we were running so fast. And we were so fortunate. We had not a single accident. And I was 30. I was the oldest. Everybody else was 18, 19. I mean, one of them was less than 20. Rest of them were about 24, 25. Wonderful. And our engineers were out of the world. They kept every helicopter flying all the time, non-stop, working 24/7, out in the open, very little resources. And our flight engineers, whose job it was to load the passengers and unload the passengers and all, wow, they knew exactly how much we could carry. And we were overloaded like hell, at least 50% more than what we were allowed to carry officially. But the job had to be done. We coaxed the helicopter to get airborne, and we delivered. It was just wonderful, absolutely wonderful. And then when it came to Scotland, I was flying in the North Sea, flying the Chinooks, flying the Sikorsky 61s, far more sophisticated helicopters compared to the Mi-4s that I was flying. But then you get used to whatever equipment has been given to you. You know, we were doing very well in India as well, and I was doing very well over here as well. I enjoyed it. Main thing was I was enjoying it. You know, and when you're enjoying it, it doesn't matter what you have in your hand. You just go and enjoy it. Wonderful.